I am excited to share my Hydrangea farmhouse floral arrangement using this pan, this tin bucket, pale looking thing that I got on clearance for $3.99, as well as these beautiful hydrangeas. I got them off of a garland. I'm going to show you how I took them off in just a second, as well as these beautiful greenery. I had found them both over at Hobby Lobby. They were on sale on clearance. This hydrangea garland was $69.99 and I got it on sale for $17.24. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my wire cutters and just cutting it down so I could manage it a little bit better. And then I untwist any of the wire or whatever that is holding the little florals or the greenery or the sticks or whatever curly cues are on it. And I just take my time and just figure out how I can make them individual. And so everything looks really nice and put together here. So that's what I did. Okay, this greenery garland was also on sale. It was regularly $59.99 and I got it on sale for $13.74. And so this one was a little bit easier to take off of the garland or off of the whatever the greenery that it has it tied to. So I just cut it off. This is one of my favorite ways to do picks like this when I get them on sale, and then I can make me a beautiful little arrangement using these hydrangea flowers as well as these greenery with berries and the inside this tin bucket. Okay, so then now I just have a bunch of different floral foam and just going to be filling this tin bucket with floral foam, and then I will once I get that done, then I will cover it with Spanish moss just to give it a woodsy feel and not have any of that green moss or the green styrofoam showing. So then I will just start sticking in my greenery and my hydrangeas and the curly cues, just kind of sticking it in so that it looks really nice and formed all the way across the arrangement. I wanted to make this for like a table or something where you can see it from both sides, like it looks cohesive all together. And so I just start on one side, put one in the middle, then put another one in the middle, and then kind of balance it out that way. And I'm just doing a variety of just the curly cues as well as the greenery with the berries and the hydrangeas. These curly cues right here came off of that hydrangea bush, and I was going to use some U-pins to stick those down, but that didn't work. It kind of was a little too thick for that. So I just figure out how to position it in the arrangement and kind of stick down the curly cues, and that worked a little bit easier for me for right now. Later on, when I discovered that the curly cues came off, it was easy to peel them off of that little branch. And so then once I discovered that, then I am going to use those little curly cues all throughout this arrangement because I love a bit of whimsy and I love the whimsical touch that it gives to this arrangement. this project is a springy moss butterfly wreath using one of these moss wreath forms from Hobby Lobby. I picked it up during their clearance sale. I got it for $3.24. Also, the star of this, or inspiration for this wreath, is that cute little monarch butterfly that I got in the spring shop over there at Hobby Lobby. Then I'm just showing you here just the different florals that I'm going to be using for this wreath. I've just picked them out of my stash, as well as I got some at Hobby Lobby. These are the ribbons that I'm going to be making the bow, and I want to go ahead and do that first because then I usually kind of work like that. That's kind of how like my mind works. I figure out how big I want my bow, and then I put my florals around once I get my bow done. So this is all 1.5-inch ribbon. It either came from Sam's Club. I think some of it is from the black and white buffalo check is from maybe Christmas at Joann's. This right here, this black with the buffalo check on the edges, came from Walmart in the Christmas section. And then the orange Swiss dot, that came from Hobby Lobby. And so I say this only to encourage my friends that are maybe new to bow making, new to collecting ribbons or craft supplies. Anywhere you can find cute wired ribbon, just be on the lookout because it is all around us, and there's not just specific stores that you need to look for it for. So what I'm doing here, guys, to make my bow, I am using an easy bow maker, and it just helps those of us that can't really hold all of the ribbons in our hand. It has little dowels on it that kind of act as fingers and kind of helps us as we are layering on our bow. And so what I did, that put that buffalo black and white check on there, but then I second guessed and said, nope, I want to put a few more loops of the orange ribbon. And so I just used some little clamps to help me along the way. We have all of these different tools that kind of help us in our crafting and creating. And so I am just layering my bow up here as I go along. Then I'm going to secure it all with a black pipe cleaner. And then that is what I'm going to be adding to kind of like offset where that butterfly is at the top. I'm going to have that off to kind of like in the 11, like if you're looking at a clock, I have the butterfly at the 11 o'clock, and then my bow is going to go at kind of like between the 4 and the 5 o'clock if you're looking at a round clock. And so I just put a pipe cleaner around my bow and just twisting that really well. I get a really tight twist with my needle nose pliers. And then to attach my bow to the Mossy, this is Mossy, so I'm going to be using a combination of U-pins and hot glue as I go along. So I want to dovetail the edges of my ribbon just to make it look really nice and finished. To attach the butterfly to the form, to the wreath form, I have some black pipe cleaners, and this butterfly is wood. And so I am just taking my little hand stapler here and just putting some staples in the pipe cleaner, and just I kind of figured out where it would attach to like where the butterfly was going to hit on the wreath. And so then I just take my hammer and hammering those staples in very well, and that mallet was not doing the trick, so I pulled out my trusty hammer just to help me with that. And then I secure it a bit with some hot glue. Then I decided to pull out some black felt, add pieces of that, and add it to the back of it just to give it an extra hold. So I am just going to be kind of taking my flowers apart here. I want to layer on some greenery as well as put some of the flowers on. Then I'm going to figure out where I want my bow. I'm going to attach the butterfly and just design this cute wreath over here with you. Now, this is some ficus that I had on hand, and I wanted it to be a little bit more full with a bit of greenery, just adding all of the different textures and all of the different colors of greenery greenery just really makes a wreath or design really kind of pop. So this is a moss wreath, so I just stick that in there. Now some of these I wanted to add a still pick using my picks machine just because it just made me feel better, because I felt that it had gave me something extra to stick into the moss wreath. And there on the side, I am just dipping these ends in my hot glue pot. That's something that I have that is, it's a Surebunder hot glue pot that I got from Hobby Lobby. And just add some Gorilla hot glue. That is what I use. And so I am just kind of positioning the greenery and different picks and stuff here. Then I'm going to put on my bow, because I get to a certain point where I have a lot of that layer. And so I kind of work in sections, and then I figure out, okay, I want to go ahead and put my bow on. Then I'm going to add a little bit more flowers. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my butterfly. And so I just kind of figure out where I want my bow. Then I use, again, like I said, a combination of hot glue as well as some U-pins. So you can get those U-pins in any floral section. And so I just stick them in this wreath because it is a mossy base. It's kind of soft, and it just helps with getting in my bow and positioning it where I want here on my wreath. This project is a mossy grapevine watering can floral decor. Now, I recently found this moss watering can on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I paid $2.24 for it, and I purchased two of them. One of them had that plastic insert, and I didn't realize that the other one didn't. So, in order to put the foam in my watering can, for the first one, I used some of that gaps and cracks that I like too. But the other one, what I needed to do is just fill it up with some foam that I already had. Okay, so then once that is dry, that gaps and cracks, it takes a good 24 hours to dry. I'm going to use some reindeer moss, and I think I got this pack over at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to split it up in between both of these decor pieces, and then that is what is going to be the greenery for my moss cup or watering can here. So I'm using a variety of flowers that I got from Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and I am going to be cutting them apart and then just putting this sweet little watering can arrangement together that is going to be perfect for Mother's Day, birthday, or something else that customers would love to buy for, because we have all of those special ladies in our life that we do want to make feel special. So I'm going to start arranging my flowers here, and then I am changing the angle of the camera because I feel that it gives a little bit better view than just over the top. And so what I'm doing is a lot, like as I mentioned, most of these florals either came from Walmart or Hobby Lobby, and don't sleep on Walmart florals. They're only 97 cents at the time of this video for these beautiful little mini ranunculus picks, and it has some whimsical greenery attached to it. So this is going to really be the star of my arrangement, and it's just so pretty. So on the side, I am just dipping the stems into some hot glue. I use a Sure Bonder hot glue pot, and so that is what I am just dipping it in, just to give it a little bit of glue on it so that when I stick it into the foam. And so I'll just continue to do this and just add a lot of the different florals that I got from Hobby Lobby as well as Walmart, and the greenery. Now, on the greenery, what I like to do is, because it is one stem is a little bit too much for a small arrangement like this, so I split it into half, and then I will put a steel pick on the end. I do have a steel picks machine, and that is something that I have invested in a long time ago, and so I like to use it. It just puts a little steel pick on it, makes it a little bit longer, kind of holds everything together, and then I will just add that into this little arrangement as well. I'm putting just a small bow on the side. I'm going to tie it on the handle of the watering can. So I have two 1.5-inch ribbons, one pink and then one burlap with some pretty daisies on it. And so I am just holding the ribbon in my hand and just making a 2-loop bow, and then add in that burlap with the daisies, also making a 2-loop bow, and then I will do another one of the pink on top. And so I know I'm not quite in the camera range. I'm sorry about that. I have to get better at when I am filming to the side so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just making loops, guys, and I twist it in the middle, and then hold it all together so that it makes a really, really nice, make sure that my right side of the ribbon is on top. So I secure everything with a zip tie, and I kind of pull that tight until I get to almost to the center. Then I'm going to add a piece of a bind wire, and I add that in the middle because then that bind wire is what I twist on my bow to the side of my watering can, and it just makes the most prettiest bow and prettiest arrangement. I do dovetail all of my ends, and that is just putting a little V cut or just a little dovetail. That's what we call it, or that's what I call it, and it just really makes a really nice finish on the edges of your ribbon. Well, friends that know me, an arrangement would not be complete without some pip berries. And I absolutely love these berries that I get off of a garland in the garland section over at Hobby Lobby. I untwist them off of the brown kind of grapevine thing that they have on, and then I use them as individual picks. And it's my favorite way to add berries to my project. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is make a small little tag or little sign for my arrangements. And I was kind of struggling this day when I was doing this. I had done some kind of cleaning up in my craft room, and so I moved my light that was over my table, and it's kind of a little, it was a little too close, so I apologize if you can't see very well. But what I'm doing, guys, is I am making a tag, and it's going to say blessed. Now, what I'm going to do is do a background, and this is just a faded text rubber stamp from Hobby Lobby. And so I had stamped one, and you could barely see it. So I remembered to get out my old mouse pad, and that is one of the things that I like to do if I am stamping on something. I put a mouse pad underneath it, and that gives me a better impression. So I just have a black Sharpie marker, and I'm going to write out hand letter blessed, and I needed 2 tags since I had 2 arrangements. And so I'm going to show you here really quick. I did one, hand lettered one, and then I did the other. It was a little bit too big, so I went ahead and stamped the faded text again, and then made that second one. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of just do all of my little shading and all of that stuff with vintage photo distress ink. I'm going to do some doodles and squiggles of what I like to do for my little tags, and then I'm going to show you what I use to include that into my arrangements. I got a little heavy-handed on that pink glitter on one of those tags, but that was not a problem. I just took a paintbrush and just kind of scraped off a lot of that glitter. I just kind of left that in there to show you that, yeah, sometimes I do make mistakes as well, but I just kind of clean it up and just go about my little business. All right, so then to attach my tags, I wanted them to be kind of freestanding, and so I have these plant picks that I think I got this pack from Dollar Tree. And what I did is I just glued it to one of those plant picks. I put a steel pick on the end of it so that it would poke into the arrangement, because this is like flimsy plastic is really what they are. And so I needed something with a little bit more stability. So that gave me that with that little steel pick. And so I just glued my my little sign to the plant pick, and then it is just perfect in there. And then I didn't glue it like the sign in the arrangement. That way, if the person who purchases this, they can keep it in there, or they can take it out if they don't like it. And I just love the way that these turned out. Guys, don't sleep on those red tag sales over at the Hobby Lobby, because you can find some really cute things to use for this Mother's Day and this spring season.